The alien guard didn't expect her answer. Now his species remembers it. The tall purple alien stared down at the small human female. His forearms crossed over his chest. She was the first human captured by the Zarn Empire, and he expected her to beg for mercy like all other species did when faced with their might. Madison Taylor stood with her back straight and her green eyes calm. The 28-year-old botanist had been collecting plant samples on the edge of human space when the alien ship appeared now. She was in a cell but refused to show fear. "You are prisoner of mighty Zarn Empire," the alien guard said, his words translated through a device on his uniform. "You will tell us human weaknesses." Madison looked up at the 9'7" guard and smiled. "We have many weaknesses, but our strength is greater." The guard made a rumbling sound that might have been laughter. The Zarn believed size equaled power, and humans were small compared to them. "What strength, little human, your muscles are weak, your technology simple. Your ship's slow patience," Madison replied. The alien guard wasn't expecting this answer. He thought she would try to claim humans had powerful weapons or special abilities. Her calm confidence made him uncomfortable. "Take human to Commander Exar," he ordered to another guard. Madison was led through curved hallways made of some type of living metal that shifted colors as they walked. The ship itself seemed alive in a way human vessels were not. She noted everything, for later report if she escaped. Commander Exar was even larger than the guards, his purple skin darker, almost black and covered in symbols that glowed with internal light. The briefing room had chairs made for Zarn size, making Madison look even smaller, so he rumbled, "You are human." "Female." Madison nodded. "Yes, I am." Madison Taylor, botanist from Earth Colony. Eden 4, the commander circled her, studying from all angles. The Zarn had been watching human expansion for years, but this was their first close encounter. "Your kind spreads quickly across stars without powerful weapons. How we adapt," Madison said simply. "We learn to live in many environments." The commander gestured to screens showing human colonies on different worlds, some frozen, some desert, some covered in water. "You change planets to suit you." "Sometimes," Madison agreed, "but mostly we change ourselves to suit planets. That's why we can live almost anywhere." This answer surprised the commander. Zarn believed in conquering and forcing environments to submit, not adapting to them. Madison was placed in a larger cell with other aliens, prisoners from species she had never seen before. They regarded her with curiosity. The small furry one, called Kip, spoke to her in broken human English. "You knew, yes, Zarns take your world soon." Madison shook her head. "They might try, but humans don't surrender easily." Kip made a sad whistling sound. "All say this at first, then Zarns break spirit. Show how small we are over next days." Madison was questioned repeatedly about human defenses, colonies, military ships. She answered truthfully about things any alien observer would already know, but kept strategic information secret. She noticed something interesting about the Zarns. They had technology far beyond humans in some ways, but surprisingly undeveloped in others. Their weapons were advanced, but their medicine primitive. Their ships fast, but their computers simple. Madison began asking her own questions during interrogations, showing interest. In Zarn culture and history, this confused her captors, who expected resistance, not curiosity. "Why you want to know about Zarns?" asked one officer, suspicious of her motives to understand you. Madison replied, "Learning about others is how humans connect." After 2 weeks, Commander Exar called Madison to his private chamber. What makes humans dangerous, he demanded. The question had been bothering him since her capture. Madison considered her answer carefully, then said, "Our greatest strength is seeing possibilities. Where others see only obstacles, we don't accept limitations as permanent." The commander laughed. "This means nothing. All species say similar things." Madison smiled. "Then let me show you." She pointed to a plant in corner of room, dying in the ship's artificial atmosphere. "I can save that plant if you let me." Curious, the commander agreed. Madison examined the plant, then requested simple materials: water, soil, nutrients. With these basic items, she nursed the alien plant back to health over several days. It was a small thing, but it impressed the Zarn, who valued life even if they conquered other species. Seeing her success with the plant commander, Exar brought Madison to medical bay, where several Zarn soldiers suffered from mysterious illness that resisted treatment. Human medicine is different than yours, Madison explained after examining patients and ship records. I think your soldiers are having reaction to minerals from last planet. You visited the Zarn doctors were skeptical but desperate enough. To try her suggested treatment. To their surprise, it worked within days. The soldiers recovered. Word of the human female who healed Zarn warriors spread through the ship, changing how the aliens viewed their prisoner. Madison was moved to better quarters, given limited access to ship databases which she studied carefully. Learning Zarn language and customs, Commander Exar began consulting Madison on other matters. She noticed patterns in star charts that suggested more efficient travel routes identified, potential problems in life support systems that Zarn engineers had missed. On day, alarm sirens blared through the ship. Madison was brought to Command Center where screens showed approaching vessels. Warships. Commander Exar said not human design. The Ravagers, ancient enemy of Zarn. Madison studied the screen. These ships had appeared near human colonies too, always watching. Never communicating. Are they attacking? The commander nodded. Ravagers always attack. They destroy everything living. Madison thought quickly. Ravagers have never met humans before. Maybe I could try communicating with them. The Zarn crew looked at her like she was insane. Ravagers do not communicate, Commander Exar said. They only destroy. Madison stood firm. Sometimes what seems impossible only means nobody tried. Right approach. Let me help you. Against better judgment. Commander Exar allowed Madison to send message to Ravager ships combining Zarn communication protocols with human diplomatic frequencies nobody expected. Response to everyone's shock. The Ravager fleet paused. They answer, Commander shouted. Madison worked with Zarn communication officers to establish basic exchange. She discovered Ravagers weren't mindless destroyers but beings who experienced reality so differently that normal communication seemed impossible to other species. For hours, Madison built communication bridge between species using mathematical patterns and simple concepts like unity, gravity, light. Finally, message came through. We thought, you were the devourers the Ravagers transmitted through makeshift translation system. We destroy only devourers. Madison explained that neither humans nor Zarns were these devourers. The Ravager fleet withdrew, promising to share information about the true enemy they had been fighting for centuries. Commander Exar looked at Madison with new respect. In all our history, no one has spoken with Ravagers. We thought it impossible. Madison smiled. Sometimes the greatest human strength is seeing past impossible. That night, Madison was summoned to meet Zarn High Council who had arrived on secret vessel. The 7 ancient Zarns studied her with glowing eyes. You have changed things. Small human. Said eldest council member. Zarns believed humans weak, prey to conquer. Now we must reconsider. Madison stood tall, representing humanity with dignity. We would prefer to be allies, not enemies. There is room among stars for both our kinds to grow. The council deliberated, then made unprecedented decision. Madison would return to human space as first ambassador between species. She would carry Zarn proposal for alliance against greater threats lurking in darkness between stars. As Madison prepared to depart, Commander Exar visited her one last time. When we first captured you, I asked what made humans dangerous. You said patience. I understand now. Madison nodded. Patience to learn about each other. Patience to solve problems. Patience to see past differences to possibilities. The commander presented. Her with small container inside was seedling from plant she had saved it. Will grow wherever you plant it, even on human worlds. Reminder that different life can flourish together. Madison accepted gift knowing it represented first step toward peace between species. As human ship approached to retrieve her, Madison thought about unexpected journey that began with simple answer to alien guard. Now his species would always remember humans not as enemies, but as the people who saw possibilities, where others saw only obstacles. As the diplomatic shuttle docked with human space station Horizon, everyone held their breath. Madison Taylor stepped out, followed by 3 Zarn representatives, towering purple aliens whose presence caused security officers to grip their weapons. Nervously, Admiral Sharon Davis approached with practiced calm, her gray uniform crisp and her expression neutral, though Madison could see concern in her eyes. Welcome back, Botanist Taylor, she said formally. You brought guests, Madison nodded, performing proper diplomatic greeting. Admiral Davis. May I present Subcommander Vezik Junior Council Member Rayla and Cultural Observer Traz. They come with peace proposal from Zarn High Council. The Admiral maintained professional composure. Though Madison knew, bringing alien representatives directly to major human station violated dozens of security protocols, especially with species humans had never officially contacted. Follow me please, Admiral Davis said, leading group to secure conference room once. Doors closed. Admiral turned to Madison with serious expression. Do you have any idea how many regulations you just broke? Botanist Taylor. Madison smiled slightly. I counted 47, Admiral. But circumstances are extraordinary. For next 3 hours. Madison explained her captivity, the communication breakthrough with Ravagers, and discovery of greater threat, lurking beyond known space. The Zarns listened occasionally, adding details through their translation devices. When she finished, Admiral Davis looked troubled. If what you say is true, if these devourers exist, they exist. Interrupted Subcommander Vesk. They consume entire worlds, leaving nothing alive. Ravagers fight them for centuries. This is why Ravagers destroy any world they believe contaminated. Madison activated data crystal given to her by Zarn Council, sharing images that made everyone in room. Pale worlds stripped to bare rock. Entire systems devoid of life. These attacks have been happening at edge of known space, Madison explained. Both human and Zarn territories have been affected, but neither of us recognize pattern until now. Admiral Davis studied images carefully. Why should we trust Zarn Alliance when your people captured our citizens? Junior Council Member Rala stepped forward with dignity unusual for Zarn. We were wrong to capture human, Madison. We believed humans weak prey for conquest. She showed us error in our thinking. We offer knowledge, technology, and military strength against common enemy. What do you want in return? Asked Admiral. Suspicious to survive, answered Rayla simply. After intense discussions, message was sent to Earth. Central government Zarn representatives were moved to special diplomatic quarters while decision was made. Madison found herself debilitated by Amy Ross, her academy roommate who now served as intelligence officer. Madison Taylor, first human to make first contact with 2 alien species in single mission. Amy said, shaking her head as they sat in station cafeteria. You always did overachieve. Madison laughed, feeling normal human interaction for first time in months. I was just trying to stay alive and get home. I leaned forward, suddenly serious. How dangerous are they really? These Zarn, Madison considered carefully. They are proud warriors with technology beyond ours in some areas, but their society is rigid. They struggle with creative solutions and adaptability. That's where humans excel and why Alliance makes sense. Are they telling truth about these devourers? Madison nodded. I saw evidence myself. Something is consuming worlds at Galactic Edge, something both Zarn and Ravagers fear. 3 days later, decision came. Earth government would proceed with alliance negotiations. Team of diplomats, scientists, and military advisors would join Madison as human representatives. Admiral Davis called Madison to private meeting before diplomatic team arrived. I need honest assessment. Taylor, she said, is this alliance viable? Madison met her gaze. Zarns respect strength, Admiral. They originally planned to conquer human colonies, but my actions convinced them we have different kind of strength. They need adaptability, creativity, our ability to find solutions where they see only obstacles. Davis nodded slowly. What about Ravagers? Can we trust this communication channel you established? It's fragile, Madison admitted. Ravagers experience reality differently than humans or Zarns, but they recognize devourers as existential threat that matters more than our differences. What do you recommend? Alliance, Madison said without hesitation. But equal partnership, not subordinate role. Zarns must recognize humans as equals, despite our physical differences. When diplomatic team arrived, Madison was surprised to find herself named special advisor due to her unique experience with both alien species. The lead negotiator, Claire Bennett, relied heavily on Madison's insights. The formal negotiations took place on neutral station, constructed specifically for meeting humans, sat across from Zarns with translation devices enabling communication. High Commander Kraz, leader of Zarn delegation, opened discussions. Our scientists studied threat pattern. Devourers move through galaxy, consuming all life. They will reach Zarn homeworld in 12 cycles, your human colonies in 14, Claire Bennett responded calmly. Human government requires proof of these claims and guarantees that alliance will be equal partnership. Proof can be provided, said Commander Kraz. But time is enemy, every world. Lost makes devourers stronger. For next week, teams worked through details of proposed alliance sharing technology, defense strategies, communication protocols. Madison served as cultural interpreter, helping each side understand others' perspectives. Breakthrough came during fifth day when Madison suggested joint mission to investigate recently attacked system. Both humans and Zarns would contribute ships, personnel, and technology. This mission will demonstrate how we work together. Madison explained to both delegations and provide first-hand evidence of threat. Both sides agreed. Preliminary alliance treaty was signed, authorizing joint expedition before full alliance could be ratified. Expedition would need to prove collaboration was possible and threat was real. Madison found herself assigned to lead human scientific team working alongside Zarn specialists. Sub-Commander Vesk would command Zarn vessel, while Captain Natalie Parker commanded human ship preparations. Moved quickly. Human ship Hermes was equipped with latest research technology, while Zarn warship Krazak carried advanced weapon systems. They would rendezvous at edge of human space, then travel together to system where devourer activity was recently detected. Night before departure, Madison stood in observation lounge watching stars. Amy joined her, bringing 2 cups of coffee. Nervous, asked Amy. Madison accepted coffee with smile, terrified. Actually, what if I was wrong? What if alliance fails? Amy shrugged. Then well, handle it. That's what humans do, right? Adapt, overcome. Madison laughed. Recognizing her own words repeated back to her true. Next morning, Madison boarded Hermes with 15 human specialists. Team included xenobiologists, physicists, military advisors, and communication experts, all best in their fields, all volunteers for dangerous mission. Ships prepared to depart. Admiral Davis delivered final instructions. Your primary mission is intelligence gathering, confirm nature of threat, assess capabilities, establish whether alliance is viable, avoid engagement with hostile forces unless absolutely necessary. Madison felt weight of responsibility as Hermes undocked from station with gentle push through viewport. She watched Zarn vessel Krazak's sleek purple hull, glowing with internal energy. Both ships would travel separately to rendezvous point using their own faster-than-light technology during 3-day journey. Madison prepared her team for working with Zarn scientists, explaining cultural differences they would encounter. Remember Zarn's value hierarchy and clear command structure. She told team during briefing. They find our collaborative approach confusing sometimes, but they respect results, don't take offense at their directness. What about Ravagers? Asked xenobiologist Lily Chen. If we encounter them, we use communication protocols I established. Madison answered, but hope we won't need them. When Hermes reached rendezvous point, Krazak was already waiting. Sub-Commander Vesk requested Madison transfer to Zarn vessel for strategy meeting. Captain Parker frowned at request. In diplomatic situations, commanding officers meet on neutral ground or alternate vessels. Madison understood Captain's concern, but also recognized Zarn cultural expectations. This is test, she explained, proving we can adapt to their customs while they learn to respect our protocols. Compromise was reached. Meeting would occur on Krazak, but Madison would bring small team including Captain Parker's. Stepping aboard alien vessel, Madison felt strange mixture of familiarity and unease. She'd spent months as prisoner here. Now returned as ally. Sub-Commander Vesk greeted them with formal Zarn salute. Human allies, welcome, your presence honors. Ship Captain Parker performed human, diplomatic greeting while Madison translated cultural nuances for both sides. Joint mission plan was established. Ships would travel together to Epsilon 9 system, last known location of devourer activity. They would remain in constant communication, sharing sensor data and analysis. As Madison prepared to return to Hermes, Sub-Commander Vesk approached. Humans believe in luck. Yes, Madison nodded, smiling slightly. Some of us doesn't. Good luck, Madison, Taylor said. Vesk performing gesture. Madison recognized. As Zarn sign of respect, may stars guide both our peoples to victory. Watching Zarn vessel through viewport as Hermes accelerated toward Epsilon 9. Madison reflected on extraordinary chain of events that began with her capture. Somewhere across galaxy, alien guard who first questioned her was probably telling others about human female. who said patience was greatest strength, who showed Zarn Empire new possibility that changed every. Epsilon 9 system appeared dead when human ship Hermes and Zarn vessel Krazak arrived. Sensors detected no artificial signals, no energy readings, no signs of civilization that once thrived on Third Planet. Madison Taylor stood on Hermes Bridge, watching main screen with growing unease beside her captain. Natalie Parker directed scanning operations, her face grim. There should be 5 billion people living here. Captain Parker said softly, "Colony was established 70 years ago, yet no debris." Field noted Zarn Subcommander Vesk through communication channel. No wreckage from orbital stations, no remains of defense platforms. Madison studied sensor readings. Something doesn't make sense if Colony was attacked. We should see evidence destruction, but there's nothing, just empty planets. She turned to Science Officer Peter Walsh, run deep scan on Third Planet, focus on biomass readings. Results appeared minutes later, sending shock through bridge crew. Planet showed zero organic material. Not even bacterial life remained. Soil had been stripped of all nutrients, atmosphere thinned to near vacuum. It's like planet was eaten. Whispered communications. Specialist Morgan Bailey. Exactly, Madison responded. That's why they're called Devourers. Joint mission. Deployed probes to all planets in system. Each revealed same pattern. Complete removal of all organic material and many minerals. Krazak sent armored shuttles to planetary surface with Zarn scouts in protective gear. Aboard Hermes, tension grew as humans realized scale of threat they faced. This wasn't ordinary war or territorial dispute. This was extinction-level event. Captain Parker ordered team leaders to conference room, including Madison, who now served as primary liaison with Zarn Ali Zarn. Science team reports unusual energy residue throughout system. Madison informed group after receiving data from Krazak. They believe it's trace signature left by Devourer technology. Can it be tracked? Asked Security Chief Olivia Cruz. Potentially, Madison said. Zarns have encountered similar signatures before, but never this strong. They think Devourers remained in the system longer than usual. But why? Asked Peter. Everyone leaning forward. Madison activated holographic display showing system map. Devourers typically consume and move on, but Epsilon 9 shows evidence they established temporary base. Possible staging area for larger incursion. Room fell silent as implications sank in. We need to send warning to Earth. Command, said Captain Parker immediately. Then to Madison, asked Subcommander Vesk if Zarns have encountered staging areas before. Madison contacted Zarn vessel, receiving troubling response. Zarns had seen 3 similar systems, all preceding major Devourer advances into populated regions. Joint command decision was made. Hermes would return to human space with warning while Krazak continued investigation. Both vessels prepared for departure when sensors detected anomaly at system edge. Massive energy surge. Captain announced bridge crew. Rushing to station. Something coming through faster than light screen. Showed distortion forming massive tear in space fabric, from which emerged vessel, unlike anything humans had seen before. 15 kilometers long, with organic appearance, pulsing. With sickly green energy. Devourer ship, whispered Madison. Before anyone could react, Zarn vessel moved protective position between Hermes and unknown ship. Subcommander Veska's voice came through comms. Human allies withdraw immediately. We will cover. Retreat. Captain Parker hesitated, unwilling to abandon allies. Then sensor officer shouted, energy buildup. Devourer vessel is charging weapons. Hermes engines engaged maximum thrust as Krazak launched barrage of missiles at massive ship. Missiles seemed to disappear into hull without effect. Madison watched in horror as green energy beam lanced from Devourer ship, striking Krazak shields. Vessel shuddered under impact, but maintained position, covering Hermes' retreat. They won't survive, Madison told Captain Parker. We need to help somehow. Captain nodded grimly. Diverting power from non-essential systems to weapons and shields. Well, buy them time to retreat as well. Hermes swung around, launching everything in its arsenal while broadcasting on all frequencies. Madison coordinated with Zarn vessel, establishing joint attack pattern that confused Devourer targeting systems. For brief moment, strategy worked. Both smaller ships maneuvered rapidly around massive vessels, striking from multiple angles, faster than Devourer weapons could track. Then second energy beam caught Krazak directly. Shields collapsed, hull breached, secondary explosions rippled through Zarn ship. Madison maintained communication link as Subcommander Vesk issued final orders. To crew emergency broadcast sent from Krazak, transmitting all sensor data and battle recordings to both human and Zarn space. Get clear, human allies. Vezek's voice came through static. Take warning to your people. Hermes captain ordered immediate retreat. As Krazak executed ramming maneuver against Devourer vessel, sacrificing themselves to create opportunity for humans to escape. Madison watched tears streaming down face as Zarn ship plunged into Devourer vessel, causing massive explosion that damaged enemy craft enough to halt pursuit as Hermes accelerated to faster than light speed. Bridge crew observed moment silence for fallen allies. Then Captain Parker turned to Madison. We have 10 hours before reaching communication range with human outposts. I need everything you know about these Devourers organized into briefing. Madison worked without rest, collating all data from joint mission plus information gained during her time with Zarns. She created comprehensive threat assessment, including technical specifications, cultural insights, and strategic analysis. Hermes arrived at forward human outpost, transmitting emergency codes that brought station to highest alert. Admiral Sharon Davis, now commanding Frontier Defense Fleet, received their report via secure channel. Entire bridge crew testified to what they'd witnessed, while Madison provided context, and Zarn intelligence station personnel listened with growing horror as they realized threat wasn't theoretical, but imminent. Admiral Davis ordered immediate war footing. All civilian transports would begin evacuation of frontier colonies. Military assets would consolidate at defensive positions. Diplomatic channel to Zarn Empire would request immediate implementation of alliance protocols. Madison found herself center of rapidly forming crisis team. Her unique experience with both Zarns and understanding of Devourers made her invaluable. Defense planners bombarded her with questions which she answered with calm precision. Despite exhaustion, late that night, Madison finally found moment alone, staring at stars from observation deck, thinking of Subcommander Vesk and Zarn crew who sacrificed themselves. She felt presence behind her. Turning to find Admiral Davis. You should rest, Admiral said. Madison noted lines of worry on older woman's face. How do you stay so calm, Madison? Madison asked, knowing answers. Vital. Madison smiled sadly, remembering Guard, who first questioned her about human strengths. I told Zarn once that patience was human strength, but that's not complete answer. Our real strength is hope, even facing extinction. We believe we can find way to survive. Admiral nodded thoughtfully. I've read reports about your time with Zarns. You showed remarkable adaptability, gaining their respect, changing centuries of Zarn policy toward other species. I just treated them as people. Madison said with simple honesty. Different than us. Yes, but people with hopes, fears, dreams, just like humans. That's gift we need now. Admiral said. Understanding. Different perspective, seeing possibilities others miss. Can you do that again? Help us see what we're missing about Devourers. Madison considered question. When I was aboard Zarn ship, I studied everything they knew about Devourers. There might be pattern we haven't recognized yet for next week. Madison led team analyzing all available data on Devourer encounters. They created simulation, showing expansion pattern across galaxy trajectory, suggested coordinated strategy, not random consumption. Breakthrough came when Madison recognized subtle pattern in Devourer movements. They weren't just consuming worlds, they were establishing network. Each staging area precisely positioned relative to others, creating web across galaxy. When Admiral Davis saw completed analysis, she immediately ordered deeper investigation resources devoted to understanding Devourer communication methods. If they're coordinated network, they must communicate somehow. Madison explained. If we can understand their communication, maybe we can disrupt it. Thuman scientists worked alongside Zarn specialists who arrived as part of alliance agreement together. They developed theory that Devourers used quantum entanglement for instantaneous communication across vast distances. Test of theory would require capturing Devourer technology intact. Dangerous mission that Madison volunteered to lead. Despite Admiral's reservations, I understand them better than anyone. Madison argued. I worked with Zarns, studied Devourer patterns. I'm logical. Choice reluctantly. Admiral approved Operation Strike Team would include Madison, 3 human specialists and 4 Zarn warriors. They would attempt to infiltrate abandoned Devourer staging area, identified from intelligence reports, as Madison prepared. For mission, she received message from Zarn High Council Subcommander Vesk had survived Krazak's destruction, escaping in pod recovered by Zarn Patrol. He requested transfer to Madison's team. Reunion between Madison and Vesk occurred aboard Human Station. Horizon Vesk now bore scars across purple skin where emergency seal had burned during escape. "You survived," Madison said with genuine joy when they met in private conference room. "Zarns are difficult to kill." Vesk replied with gesture. Madison recognized. "As Zarn smile, I hope to see human patience succeed against Devourers." 3 months passed since Madison Taylor led mission to retrieve Devourer technology. Alliance between humans and Zarns grew stronger as both species faced existential threat together. Research teams worked continuously to understand crystal component and develop countermeasures. Madison divided her time between scientific research and diplomatic duties. As key liaison between species, her unique understanding of both cultures proved invaluable. As military preparations accelerated, she was reviewing sensor data in her lab. When alert sounded throughout station, Admiral Davis requested immediate presence in command center. When Madison arrived, she found room filled with senior officers and Zarn representatives, including Subcommander Vesk. Holographic display showed massive energy distortions forming at edge of human space long-range sensors. Detected 3 Devourer vessels approaching defense perimeter, announced tactical officer. "They're larger than anything we've encountered before." How long asked. Admiral Face grim at current speed. "They will reach outer colonies in 7 days." Madison studied display, noticing pattern and approach. "They aren't moving directly toward densely populated worlds. They're targeting communication relay stations." First, Vesk stepped forward, confirming Madison's observation. "Devourers seek to isolate before consuming standard tactic." Admiral Davis turned to assembled officers. "Implement evacuation protocols for all systems in projected path. Deploy fleet to defensive positions." Along approach vector, Madison noticed something else about enemy movement, reviewing data on secondary screen. Before speaking, Devourers are avoiding systems where we placed quantum disruptors. Research teams had developed prototype devices based on captured crystal technology, theorizing they might interfere with Devourer communication. Network devices had been strategically placed throughout frontier systems. "They know what we're doing," Madison said, looking up from screen. "They've identified our countermeasures." Room fell silent as implications became clear. Devourers possessed intelligence beyond simple consumption pattern. They adapted strategies based on opposition. "Admiral." Davis turned to Madison. "What options do we have?" Madison considered. Question carefully, remembering everything learned from Zarns and her own research into enemy patterns. "I think we need to stop treating Devourers as simple predators. They're intelligent network with centralized communication structures." Asked Admiral if we can stop their advance directly. "We change approach." Madison activated simulation showing Devourer movement patterns across galactic sector. "Instead of defending each system individually, we create trap using quantum disruptors as bait," Madison explained plan that formed in her mind. Devourers avoided systems with disruptors because devices threatened their network. Alliance would establish apparent weakness in defensive line pattern that would draw enemy toward specific system where combined fleet weighted with enhanced quantum weapons. "It's risky," said Admiral, studying proposal. "All options are risky now," Madison replied. "But Devourers have shown one consistent weakness. They must maintain network connections. We can exploit that." After heated debate, plan was approved. Human and Zarn vessels began repositioning quantum disruptors removed from most systems, concentrated instead in single location that would appear vulnerable to enemy sensors. Madison worked with science teams to enhance disruptor technology based on new understanding of crystal components. If theory proved correct, enhanced devices would create cascade failure through enemy network, temporarily disabling their communication. As preparations continued, Madison found herself working alongside Vesk, who now served as Zarn military liaison. "You believe this will succeed?" asked Vesk as they calibrated quantum field generators aboard flagship. Madison adjusted final settings before answering. "I believe we have chance that's all humans ever need." Vesk made gesture Madison recognized as respect. "Humans see possibilities in darkness where Zarns would see only end. This is why alliance matters." Day before enemy arrival, combined fleet gathered in staging area. Beyond intended trap site, over 300 vessels representing both species' largest military force ever assembled in known history. Admiral Davis called final briefing aboard flagship with all ship captains attending. Virtually, Madison presented latest intelligence and final adjustments to battle plan. Remember, Madison concluded, Devourers rely on perfect coordination. Through quantum network, our disruptors will create approximately 20-minute window when their ships will be isolated from network. During that time, concentrated attack on primary vessels should succeed. Zarn Fleet Commander Grazik spoke next, his massive form dominating Zarn's side of conference display. Zarn, stand with human allies. We fight together or fall together throughout. Fleet final preparations were made. Weapons checked, shields reinforced, evacuation routes confirmed. Madison found moment quiet reflection in observation lounge, looking at stars, thinking about journey that brought her here. Room door opened as sub-commander Vesk entered, apologizing for interruption. Not at all, Madison welcomed presence of alien she'd come to consider friend. Vesk moved to stand beside her, unusual request. Madison Taylor, before battle tomorrow. Zarn warriors perform ritual sharing life. Stories with battle companions, would you share yours with me? Madison smiled, touched by gesture that represented highest form of Zarn respect, only shared between those who might die together. For next hour, they exchanged stories. Madison speaking of Earth childhood scientific studies, dreams that led her to explore stars. Vesk telling tales of Zarn homeworld training as warrior journey that brought him to alliance with species once considered prey. When Guardian delivered urgent message, interrupting their exchange, Madison was summoned to Admiral's quarters. What happened? Asked Madison, sensing emergency from Admiral's expression. Davis gestured to secure terminal showing sensor readings. Devourer vessels changed course. They're avoiding trap entirely, heading directly toward Earth. Madison studied data with growing alarm. Somehow they anticipated our strategy, knew exact placement of our force. Show? Asked Madison, though she suspected answer. Davis looked grim. We believe Devourers have infiltrated our communication systems, possibly through quantum entanglement properties of crystal components we've been studying. Madison realized implication. Crystal they recovered had served as listening device connection to enemy network that worked both ways. While Alliance studied Devourers studied them. Entire battle plan must change. Madison said, we can no longer rely on trap strategy. Even now, fleet prepared to pursue enemy vessels, race against time to reach Earth before Devourers could threaten homeworld. But Madison knew conventional approach would fail. She needed different solution, returning to laboratory where crystal component remained secured in containment field. If connection goes both ways, Madison reasoned to herself, perhaps we can use it. Working through night, Madison developed desperate plan. Rather than trying to disrupt enemy network, she would attempt to access it, use captured technology to insert false information into Devourer command structure. Admiral Davis and Zarn commanders were skeptical when Madison presented concept. You're suggesting we hack into alien network whose technology we barely understand? Davis summarized. Yes, Madison confirmed its desperate plan. But enemy vessels will reach Earth in 4 days before fleet can intercept. We need alternative. Vesk spoke, supporting Madison. Zarns have legend of shadow warrior who entered enemy's mind to plant seeds of defeat. Perhaps human. Madison can enter Devourer mind with reluctant approval. Madison assembled team of specialists to implement plan. They constructed interface using crystal component that would theoretically allow limited access to Devourer network. Procedure carried substantial risk. Person attempting connection could suffer neurological damage or worse. Madison insisted on being that person. You're too valuable to Alliance, Admiral Davis argued. But Madison was firm. I've studied them longer than anyone else. She replied, understand. Network patterns better. Chances of success higher with me. Preparation took 2 days. Interface constructed in isolation chamber aboard flagship. Now racing toward Earth. Madison would attempt connection while ship traveled. As Madison entered chamber wearing neural interface helmet, she exchanged final words with Vesk, who would monitor her life signs. If connection succeeds, what will you show them? Asked Vesk. Truth, Madison replied simply. Sealed inside chamber, Madison activated interface crystal component, glowed with increasing intensity as connection established neural pathways in her brain linking with alien network. First sensation was overwhelming chaos. Millions of simultaneous communications flowing between devourer vessels, fragmented images, alien concepts that human mind struggled to comprehend. Madison, focused, remembering training techniques, breathing steadily as she learned to filter information. Stream gradually patterns emerged. Structure became visible within chaos. Devourer network operated like vast hive-mind individual components, sharing collective knowledge, but Madison detected something unexpected at center of network, controlling intelligence, ancient consciousness, directing entire species, gathering courage. Madison pushed deeper into network, avoiding detection by mimicking communication. Patterns learned from observation. Suddenly she accessed visual feed from lead devourer vessel. Seeing Earth through alien sensors, emotional response surprised her. Intense hunger consuming need. Vast emptiness driving devourers forward. They didn't hate humans or Zarns, they simply consumed to fill endless void. 5 years passed since first contact with devourers. Alliance between humans and Zarns flourished, developing into partnership that transformed both civilizations. Madison Taylor now served as director of Xenocommunication Initiative Program, dedicated to establishing peaceful contact with other species, including ongoing efforts with devourer consciousness. Central Alliance Station Unity orbited neutral space between human and Zarn territories. Massive structure housed diplomatic missions, research facilities, and cultural exchange programs, becoming symbol of cooperation between former enemies. Madison walked through botanical garden at station's heart, where plants from both homeworlds grew together in carefully maintained environment. She often came here to think. Surrounded by life from different worlds thriving together, Director Taylor announcement came through personal communicator council session. Beginning in 10 minutes, Madison acknowledged message, continuing through garden until reaching central pathway where Subcommander Vesk waited. Tall purple Zarn now wore diplomatic insignia rather than military rank. You still seek peace in growing things, Vesk observed as they walked together toward council chambers. Madison smiled. Some things don't change even after 5 years. Zarns had changed significantly since Alliance began learning from humans, adopting more flexible approaches, while humans gained appreciation for Zarn discipline and historical knowledge. Species complemented each other in unexpected ways. Council chamber filled with representatives from both civilizations, plus observers from Ravager Alliance, newly established diplomatic contact with species once considered mythical enemies. Admiral Sharon Davis now serving as Human Alliance Coordinator. Open session with formal greeting. Then turned to Madison for quarterly update on Devourer Communication Project. Madison activated central display showing statistics and progress reports. For 5 years we've maintained limited contact with Devourer consciousness through modified quantum network. Communication remains challenging, but we've established basic understanding. Data showed gradual increase in meaningful exchanges, decrease in hostile responses from Devourer. Nodes progress remained slow but consistent. Most significant breakthrough came 3 months ago. Madison continued when we successfully transmitted concept of mutual existence without consumption. Devourer consciousness. Acknowledged concept as possible. Alternative though implementation remains theoretical. Council members murmured with mixture of hope and skepticism. Many still believed devourers could never change fundamental nature. Believed Madison wasted resources on impossible goals. Earn high. Councillor Rala raised ceremonial staff for attention. 5 years ago Zarns believed humans were prey to be conquered. Now we stand as equals, learning from each other. Perhaps Madison Taylor sees possibility in devourers that we cannot yet imagine. Madison nodded gratefully at Zarn leader, remembering how far both species had come since her capture. Presentation continued with technical details. Projected timeline for further communication attempts. Council eventually approved continued funding though. Several members expressed reservations. After session concluded, Madison found herself approached by Beth Crawford, newly appointed science minister from Earth government. Traveling on inspection tour, Madison hadn't seen Beth since academy days when they studied xenobiology together before career paths diverged. You look well, Beth said. Embracing Madison, though strain showed around her eyes. Madison knew Earth government faced political pressure regarding Devourer project. Many citizens questioned wisdom of communicating with species that had threatened extinction. Let's find somewhere private to talk, suggested Madison, leading Beth to her personal quarters, where conversation would remain confidential. Once door closed, Beth dropped diplomatic. "Facade Earth Council is losing patience, Madison," she said directly. 5 years, billions in resources devoted to communicating with species that destroyed Epsilon. 9 killed thousands. Pressure grows to pursue military solution while we have advantage, Madison had expected this conversation, prepared her response carefully. "I understand political reality, but consider historical perspective when humans first encountered Zarns. Both sides prepared for war. Now Alliance stands as strongest force in known galaxy because one guard asked question and I gave unexpected answer." Beth sighed heavily. "This isn't same situation. Devourers aren't Zarns, they don't have culture or values. We recognize they consume everything in their path." Madison activated personal terminal displaying data. Not shared with General Counsel. Recent neural scans from Devourer node show increasing complexity in communication patterns, evidence of conceptual evolution. They are changing. Beth slowly but measurably. Impressive, conceded Beth, but not enough to justify continued risk. What happens if Devourers use communication channel to locate Earth, gather intelligence for future attack? Legitimate concern. Madison acknowledged we've implemented every security protocol possible, quantum firewalls, consciousness barriers, but yes, risk exists. Question is whether potential reward outweighs that risk. Throughout evening they debated, Madison presenting evidence of progress, Beth raising political concerns. Both respected each other's position, though neither changed minds. Next morning Madison led Beth on tour of research facility, where Devourer node remained contained in specially designed chamber team of scientists, monitored quantum interactions, recording, analyzing every exchange. "This is where we may save ourselves," Madison explained as Beth observed glowing crystal structure. "Not through weapons but understanding." Beth studied containment field skepticism. Evident. "What exactly do you hope to achieve here, Madison? What does victory look like?" Madison considered question carefully. "Victory is Devourers choosing different path. Recognizing consumption is an only option. Discovering cooperation offers greater benefits than endless hunger. Most basic Devourer communication we've translated." Beth read display where simplified concepts appeared in human language. "Consume, grow, expand, survive," Madison confirmed. "But look at newer exchanges from last month, different concepts beginning to appear. Share, coexist, potential." Beth shook head. "Still unconvinced. I hope you're right, Madison. For all our sakes, Earth Council will continue funding for now, but results must be more concrete." Within year after Beth departed, Madison returned to personal research project. She hadn't shared with Council, or even closest colleagues, theory that Devourer consciousness might be integrated with Alliance quantum network, creating true symbiosis rather than simply changing Devourers' behavior. Idea came from dreams Madison experienced since first neural connection with Devourer network, visions of shared consciousness where boundaries between species dissolved into greater whole. She discussed theory only with Vezek, who understood implications. If successful integration would fundamentally transform both Alliance and Devourers, creating something entirely new. Neither consumption nor coexistence, but true union of minds across species. Madison worked late into night cycle when station alert sounded. Emergency Level 1 Admiral Davis appeared on communication screen. Madison report to command center immediately. Unusual energy signatures detected approaching Alliance space. Rushing through corridors, Madison reached command center, finding controlled chaos as officers tracked incoming anomalies. Not Devourer signature announced. Sensor officer configuration unknown, design unlike anything in database. On main screen, massive vessel appeared unlike any ship Madison had seen before. Its structure seemed to shift and flow, changing configuration. As they watched, approximately 20 kilometers long with energy readings that exceeded anything in known space. First contact protocol ordered Admiral Davis, all defense systems ready. But no aggressive posture, open communication channels. All frequencies. Madison moved to communication station working with specialists to establish contact. Unknown vessel. Made no response to standard greeting messages. Vessel has stopped, announced tactical officer holding position. Just outside defense perimeter were being scanned. Unknown ship projected quantum signal on frequencies used for Devourer communication. Madison detected pattern, immediately requesting permission to respond. Same protocol. Admiral hesitated, then nodded. Proceed with caution. Madison sent carefully. Structured response using communication protocols developed for Devourer Project Message contained mathematical sequences, proving intelligence, peaceful intent, and request for dialogue. Response came immediately, not through communication systems, but directly into Madison's mind, bypassing technology, connecting consciousness to consciousness. She gasped at contact, experiencing flood of images, concepts, emotions not human or Zarn or even Devourer, but something else entirely ancient beyond comprehension. Yet curious about Alliance, Madison, they observed you bridge between minds, between species, between understandings. Who are you? Madison asked through mental connection feeling. Others watching experience through her perception. We are observers was response. We watch as species rise, fall, consume, cooperate, destroy, create. We have watched your efforts with Devourers with interest. Around Madison Command Center continued emergency procedures, officers unaware of conversation occurring within her mind. Admiral, Davis called her name with concern as she stood motionless, eyes unfocused. We have existed since stars first formed. Observers continued studying species across galaxy, seeking those who might transcend limitations of biological existence, join greater community of minds. You created Devourers? Madison realized suddenly, understanding flowing through connection.